You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Guitar Talk. I am John.
And I am Dave.
This is number 64 on YouTube and number 10 on the podcast. I was planning on talking about maybe some other things, maybe talking about NAMM this week, but clearly this week a pretty devastating event happened that changed the course of this show for the week. I think that's fair to say.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, unless you're living under a rock, those of you out there probably have heard that Neil Peart from Rush passed away this week.
Crazy.
Yeah, and those of you who listen to the program probably know that Dave and I are both pretty big Rush fans.
You bigger than me for sure, because obviously I have a shorter likable period for them, but yes.
Well, yeah. It came out of nowhere for fans and stuff. Now, Neil historically, from what I understand, is a really private guy.
Yeah.
He never did any of like the meet and greets or any of that sort of stuff when Rush had shows, because he didn't want to be the bigger than life rock star. He just wanted to do the music, and that was it. And that's evident in lyrics and like a song like Limelight. You know, Limelight was written specifically about that very uncomfortable situation. So anyway, it doesn't surprise me. Well, all I was getting at is it doesn't surprise me that the fact that he had brain cancer for 3.5 years, that nobody in the public knew it.
Right. I think people are more surprised that Geddy and Alex kept it quiet, but I don't think, according to his wishes, I would believe he would have said, keep it to ourselves. And
right.
I do think that his problem with the public is definitely more internal for his own shyness.
Yeah.
There's a shyness factor and a comfort level before a show. He's not really interested in meeting a bunch of strangers who look up to him and want to meet him. He finds the whole thing weird, and it just makes him uneasy.
Right. The lyric in the song is, "I can't pretend a stranger is a long-awaited friend."
Yeah. I could see that about him in the way he is in all the interviews I've seen.
Right.
I have to say, on my show, I've talked about Neil Peart and talking about how he's not one of my favorite drummers, which he isn't, but he is a great drummer. Mm-hmm. And I've also said things like, when I saw him live, that I wasn't impressed. I'll tell you what's interesting. I think his playing changed because I watched that documentary recently.
Sure.
And when he was recording Moving Pictures, that drummer is not the same drummer, almost like Bam Bam on the later years. You know what I mean? He's like really tight, close with the drums. His hands he looks really rigid. Back then he was loose. The drums were further apart. He looked like he was enjoying it. So I don't know what happened with his playing. I think he was phenomenal during that era of, like, let's say 2112 all the way to Power Windows. I think he was great.
Well, okay. So 2112 to Power Windows. I mean, your favorability on the timeline is pretty much right there where mine is then.
Oh, okay. I enjoyed Fly By Night and Caress of Steel. I'm just saying, as far as him coming out into his...
Yeah, no. In 2112, he definitely came into his own. And, I really don't listen to Power Windows ever.
Yeah.
Power Windows has what's that? Marathon, Grand Designs.
Yes.
There's a couple songs on it that I don't like totally dislike, but it's just not a go-to for me. I kind of stop at Oh God, what's the name of the record? Right After Signals, the album after Signals.
Race Under Pressure.
Right. Yeah. I like that record a lot, and that's kind of where I stop, and then I pick it up again. I liked Roll the Bones a little bit, and then in a later record that they did, I kind of liked Ghost Rider a little bit. There's a few songs here and there, but as a whole collection, not really. I mean, the prime of their body is really the 70s to the early 80s.
Yeah. I mean, Moving Pictures to me is their greatest album.
I think in terms of their success and what broke them through, and not talking about like a guitar player nerding out on something, it's definitely their best.
Well, I think they
Best.
considered it their best album.
Yeah, they totally did.
I know Neil did, because Neil said basically like that album was where when they finally were like, this is what we're doing, like where they look back and it's like, it's the album for them.
Right. I think as a fan, like, people have their own particular favorites for whatever reasons, but you can't argue that that's anything but their best album. It really is.
Oh, no, I agree with that, because I also think like I could definitely listen to somebody tell me that they think Permanent Waves is a better album. And I thoroughly enjoy Permanent Waves. I mean, I love that record. I don't think it's a better album though, because there's just aspects of it that I think like when Moving Pictures came out, it was like, this is the album Rush was destined to make. Like, this is the important record.
Yeah. It's it's a real tough loss to deal with. Like you said, I'm a really big fan, so I've even got the stupid tattoo. If you remember that, I think I got that when I still lived in the Santa Monica place. So
the star with the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was tough. I would say this is like the first one that I've experienced, the first like celebrity sort of loss that actually kind of mattered to me.
Wow.
Generally speaking, in the past, like, when I saw that Aretha passed, it was like, oh, that sucks. Because I grew up with all the Motown stuff, and you look at some videos and things, and you think fondly of like her voice and what she did. And I remember when Robin Williams passed, it was the same sort of thing where it was like, oh, that sucks. But like this one for me was the first one where it was like, oh my God, this is a guy that was like a hero growing up.
Yeah. That happened to me twice, and very close together. Was when Frank Zappa died. I was really deep into my Zappa exploit.
Sure.
It's like, like every few years you find a band and you go down the rabbit hole loving all their stuff. And I was deep in it when Zappa died. So I was like, oh. And
what
then
year
when Freddie,
was that? That was early 90s?
Zappa died in December of 93. The other one was the year before, I believe. Was it 92? Was it when Freddie Mercury died?
Oh, it was right around then, yeah.
It was November 24th. I think it was 92. Anyways, it was like those two were hard on me.
You said hard on.
Yeah, well, I was talking about Freddie. So, yeah, he was hard on me and at one of the German discotheques. No, yeah, so, I mean, but for me, it was like when I heard Neil Peart died, I was like, I looked at it in disbelief. I'm like, what? Well, he wasn't sick. I thought it might have been fake. And then I read the article and I was like, oh, this sucks. Because, for a lot of people, he was their rock god. And, but we've had a lot of loss lately. We lost Prince. We lost Tom Petty. We lost George Michael.
Right, sure. Bowie.
But yeah, no, but I'm talking about good artists.
I think that with Neil Peart dying, though, he's the first one. No, because I'm going to trump you here. With Peart dying, he's kind of the first one of the last 10 years that wasn't a pedophile. We just lost some listeners.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's
No, I'm
just
kidding,
he's
folks. He
like
was.
he's definitely yeah, I mean, he was the go-to guy for a lot of drummers.
Well, the thing that sucks for the drum world is now Bonham and Peart are gone. And
Yeah.
there's arguably no two more important drummers in probably in recorded rock and roll music that would have maybe mattered more to drummers.
Oh, I
Maybe,
agree. And if anyone's going to say Keith Moon, I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong.
yeah. I mean, there's gonna be some older guys that say, "Ooh, Ringo," but I don't know. Give me a fucking break.
I'll quote John Lennon in that one. I don't think he's the greatest drummer in the band.
Right, right.
Yeah, no, forget him.
So it does feel like, with Peart gone, that's like, oh man, there's the last influential, really important drummer in rock and roll, and people say things that are really, really sad. Like I hear people say things like, with Peart gone, that's like he's not going to be replaced. And they're not talking about Rush. They're talking about a guy that was the artist that he was. Is not going to be replaced because just that whole scene is now just over.
Let me say a few things. First of all, Peart was a great lyricist.
Sometimes.
Well, he wrote all the lyrics. I mean, that was his job.
The Trees is awful.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about A Quantum Leap Forward in Time and in Space? Our lyrics don't make any sense.
It's great.
No, but I mean, he had the job. He wasn't just the drummer. He was also involved in the songwriting aspect of it, which, I mean, is Bernie Taupin that good? Blue Jean Baby. Shut up. But I mean, I think I don't know when people say that, what drummers would be picking up that particular torch. There's a lot of great drummers out there. I mean, I think even guys like Danny Carey's a great drummer on his own. Right. And I think Mike Portnoy for years was a great drummer on his own, doing his, and I think there's a lot of...
Kelly Keagy?
Kelly Keagy's right up there. Saw you walking out on Sentimental Street. Who you try?
That's right. Was he a lyricist in that band? I imagine he was because he was singing.
I think he wrote Sister Christian.
Yeah. Sister Christian, the time has come.
You're motoring. It's like, what?
What's
I heard the producer of that record came in when he was reading the lyrics. He's like, these are awful. Who the hell wrote these? Neil Peart?
What's the song? I remember we learned about love in the back of a Chevrolet.
Oh, God. Was that When You Close Your Eyes?
Yeah, it might be.
When you close your eyes. It was the bridge to When You Close Your Eyes, wasn't it?
That sounds right to me.
Oh, God. Folks, nothing against Night Ranger. I love them. I love every cheesy song they ever wrote. I love that band.
What is it? 25 hours a day.
The secret of my success. God.
Right.
That first album, though, Eddie's coming out tonight, sure. And you Don't Tell Me You Love Me. I love that record. The first two albums are great. After that, it's like, what was the album afterwards where they had Goodbye on it? And I forget the name.
I don't know. I don't know. But the first
4
record,
in the morning.
The first record had that bump, 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 bump.
Yeah, Don't Tell Me You Love Me. That's Dawn
That was
Patrol.
First record. Oh, okay. And then the second record had You Can Still Rock in America.
Right.
And then the third record, it jumped the shark and went to straight pop.
No, the third wasn't. It was in the middle. It was kind of halfway there. But What year was it that Rush did the washer and dryer and the rotisserie chicken amplifiers? What year was that?
Greatest. Time Machine, 2008-ish, maybe.
I saw that tour. And then didn't we go see them when they did
Yeah, we saw them.
what was that called? That was the Moving Pictures album they went and re-toured.
Yeah, it was. What did they call that tour though? Was that the R40 tour?
No, it wasn't R40. I think it was just Moving Pictures. They were doing albums.
Okay, yeah. That must have been what, maybe 2000,
10 or 11?
Yeah, something like that. I got to see them twice. So how many times did you get to see them?
I saw them live twice.
You saw them twice, okay. Did you see them once relatively early?
No, I saw the rotisserie chicken tour.
Oh, and then the one we saw. Sorry.
I heard they were distributing the chickens to the audience members. That's why I went.
It would have been great. So they must have been running direct, or they just had amps backstage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's probably all. I mean,
it's a good sense of humor, though. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were like, everything's probably in stage racks, you know what I mean? Backstage. So they would just fuck it, put it on stage, like, could be anything.
It's funny that they decide to make it like washer and dryer and
yeah.
Anyway, what a blow this week. Real tough to get through your work day. Like when news drops on your desk like that at like 11 o'clock in the morning. You're just.
And did he pass at St. John's? I'm just assuming it was at St. John's because they said he died in Santa Monica, and that's the hospital.
St. John's or UCLA?
Oh, right. Well, the UCLA is what, around on Wilshire?
It's 17th in Arizona, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a really big hospital, so it would be, either one of those. But who knows? As far as that goes, it might have just been in hospice at his home. He
lives in the Palisades.
Well, they might have just said Santa Monica. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, I had spent some time over the last few days listening to a bunch of old Rush stuff because no better time than reminiscing, and I gotta say I still like a lot of the same stuff I liked when I was younger.
Right.
I still don't really get all the way through Fly By Night or Caress of Steel. It's like one.
What album is Lakeside Park on?
Caress of Steel.
That stinks.
Yeah. The only
no. I'm sorry. Rivendell.
Fly By Night.
That's a horrible song.
It is. Yeah. There's a couple that are really tough to get through on those two. By the time A Farewell to Kings comes around, I'm more engaged.
Sure.
Farewell to Kings, all the way through Grace Under Pressure. Those are the albums, and I can pretty much do all of them. Surprisingly, I don't really dig on 2112 as much as everybody else. Rush,
I don't like the album that much. I just said that was the album where I think that Neil Peart came out and he stepped into it. As far as the record goes, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's funny because that's the one that everybody references. Oh, 2112.
Yeah.
Like, it's all right. It's not their worst record, but I don't really go to it. I generally I'm living between Hemispheres and Signals.
Really?
I'm living between those records. Like most of the time I turn on Rush. Sometimes I'll go to Grace Under Pressure. Sometimes I'll go to, something different, but that's the beef of the catalog.
I would be happy just listening to Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures, and Signals.
Yeah.
Those three. That's where I would limit myself to say those are three great, phenomenal albums. On either side of that, they get worse as you go.
So what you're telling me is that you're not compelled by lyrics such as "My Rocinante sailed by night on her final flight. To the heart of Cygnus' fearsome force, we set our course."
Cygnus, I think, is such bloviated bullshit.
Cygnus Book 2 is my favorite.
It's ridiculous.
Musically, it's freaking brilliant, though.
Oh my God.
You get more of the Alex Lifeson chord in that song than you get in any other song they do.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking on that record. I honestly, I feel like there's like a shoot and a miss.
So do you know what the Lifeson chord?
The what?
The Alex Lifeson chord.
He always played. He loves sus-2s. He likes. I'm imagining you're thinking of the sus-2 or hold on. What guitar is that?
I'll explain in a moment.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. The open E and B over the F sharp.
Lifeson chord goes
Right.
and then it does that. In that song, he does that
To the B. Oh yeah, I know it all too well.
It's the best. This guitar, speaking of the best, I'm trying to get good light here so it doesn't just look awful.
It looks nice. It looks like it's a relict Strat type body. It's a Friedman, clearly.
Yeah.
What? Hold on. What's? Is that a different piece of wood, or is it just he paints that section of the headstone? It's painted. Okay. So he cuts a channel and then paints it. That's a nice little touch. And then
it's actually a piece of acrylic that's back painted, and they
glue
it
is.
in, and they glue it in. So it's almost the same. Like the surface is there's only a small drop there. You know, they carve it out, but then they basically fill it all the way back in.
Interesting. Well, it still looks like it's a hair lower than the other part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's only a small drop.
Right.
It's basically level. But
hold on, go back to the body of the guitar. So it looks like it's relic. It's got the wheel for the which is brilliant.
Yep.
And he doesn't cut into the neck with it weird. So he just puts it in there like that. What are the pickups?
Just bouncing all over it.
Yeah, it's bleeding, but that's all right. What's the pickups?
Friedman Classic Plus.
Okay, he's winding his own.
Yep, reverse wound single and a natural single there.
Nice.
Yep, they're all made in the Grover Jackson shop. It's a bird's eye fingerboard.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
relicking it?
People at Grover's.
Okay.
Yeah, ash body, super lightweight. Goto 510 tremolo.
Mm-hmm. Looks nice.
Goto vintage locking tuners.
How do you like it?
It's phenomenal. It's just a sample. For now, I'll probably end up taking it. So you remember what it was like working in the music store where like you get guitars in every single day. And every once in a while, one comes in that the moment you hit a note on it, before you ever plug it in, you're just like, oh buddy, something's going on with this one.
Sure.
That's pretty much what's happening with that guitar.
Right.
The moment you hit a note, it was just like, what? Just some sort of alchemy is happening there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so usually at the store when we would hit a chord, it was that special something was Carl Green walking over going, "Can I play it?"
Smelling of old cigarette smoke and booze. What are the chances Carl's still alive?
Ooh, slim.
Folks, I'm not saying that to be mean. He was very old. He was probably, in his 70s when he was coming in, and that was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in the best health at that point. He lived in a group home or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
Smart Robin, yeah. Smart Robin, yeah.
It's gotta be tough. Anyway, the Lifeson chord, F sharp major with what do you call it with a suspended B and an E?
Well, the B will become an 11, and the E is a 7. So it's an F sharp 7 add 11.
Okay. So that's the Lifeson chord. Now, what's the Hendrix chord?
It's a 7 sharp 9.
7 sharp 9 is the Hendrix chord. Okay. That's kind of cool. There's a couple of guitar players that have their own chord.
Yeah, well, then he plays the B, the same thing with the E and the B, playing open, and that would just be a B add 11.
Okay.
because the E is really like a sus4, but he has the 3 in it, so you would add it as an 11.
Sure.
Yeah, so the other one's a 7 add 11, and then just an add 11.
A 7 add 11.
Yeah, the F sharp is an F sharp 7 add 11.
How is the F sharp? What's the 7? Oh, the E is the 7.
The open E string.
Right, and the B is the yeah. Okay, got it. Anyway, are there any other guitar players out there that have their own chord that, in the parlance of guitar players, say, "Oh yeah, it's the so and so chord"?
Let's see. Well, we know the Hendrix chord. I was gonna say maybe. See, to me, a lot of what he plays reminds me of Andy Summers, the Sus2 stuff he used to do all over the later Rush records in the 80s. He loved
Okay.
that Sus2 chord. I like
The only-
Alex Lifeson's playing.
The only reason I call the Lifeson chord the Lifeson chords because I've literally heard other people call it that.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, when I put it together, I'm like, oh yeah. Heard Jerry Cantrell referred to it before when he's talking about Rooster because he plays it in Rooster.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
See, I don't even recognize it in Rooster like as the same. It's... Ooh.
But
Right. Ooh. Yeah.
yeah, and then obviously John Petrucci from Dream Theater, but that's of course because he was a huge Rush nut.
There's the Paul Stanley chord. It's when you play like just a regular A bar chord, but you slightly detune the strings to make it sound annoying. I'm just kidding.
That's a funny relationship. I heard some Neil Peart what's it, not eulogy, but just what's the word I'm looking for here? Tribute? I don't know. Just
Okay.
people saying fond things about him. All the Kiss guys come out because apparently they had like some sort of like a really good long-standing relationship as bands and friends and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, Rush used to open for Kiss back in the mid 70s, like 77, and it's great. There's a great interview in Australia with Bon Scott, and they're asking him about touring with Kiss, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to be touring with them," and then some band called Rush from Canada. And the interview was like, "Yeah, I never heard of it. Bon Scott's like, me either."
Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, it's amazing. It's really
First time I heard of Rush I'll never forget it. We were driving somewhere. I think it was to the airport. And on the radio was like, Rush's new album coming out. And they would play like bits of Tom Sawyer. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean. And I was like, oh, I should get that. That sounds good. And then I got it. But before that commercial, I had never heard of Rush.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really wild.
Yeah, and that was like 1980 or 81.
80.
It was like right.
It should have been released in 80.
No.
I'm pretty sure. Was it released in 81?
I think it's 81. I think 80 was Permanent Waves.
I was released in 81.
Maybe if it was 80, that would make 80 the greatest. Were you? Yeah, you were born in 81?
Yeah.
I want to say Moving Pictures was 81 because wasn't Signals 82?
You're right. It was released on February 12th, 1981.
Yeah, 81. Yeah, because I think 80 is Permanent Waves.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So wait, it was released in February of 81, which puts me in 7th grade.
So let me take this conversation a little dark here for a second. So you were you were cognizant of what was going on in the world around that time. So what was it like when you learned of John Lennon assassination?
Oh, I remember it.
Was it like a big deal at all to
Well, I
people
remember
you
for people
knew
that
or
were
anything?
older, not for me. I remember when I was people were bummed about it, but not like Elvis when I was a kid. I saw a lot of adults very visibly upset when Elvis died when I was
Mm,
9.
okay.
But when Lennon died, I remember when Keith Moon died, and I remember hearing when Lennon died and when Belushi died. Um, I would probably say, I remember them being on the news. No one really. I mean, it was like a kind of a bummer thing, but it wasn't like,
Mm, okay.
when you're little, you don't, you don't know things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's funny. I remember like when, you think about like Van Halen's first album. I was probably hearing those songs when it first came out. You don't know that was new.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
on the radio. You have no idea that nothing was like this before then. You're like, what? You know what I mean? It's so
Right.
weird.
No, I get it. I get it. So the moment that it really did impact ended up being, like you said, Freddie Mercury and Frank Zappa,
Well, I was older then and into
because
their
you
music.
right, you sort of have a little more experience. Probably takes a little more experience and just life experience to start really appreciating when something like that happens.
Well, I think it's definitely you have to connect with that artist to care. I mean, even when Prince died, I'm not a Prince fan. I like him good. I mean, I just I don't care. Like people have I mean, probably now that I'm older, I'm more callous to things. People have their own personal life, and I separate the music from that. You know
Sure.
what I mean? It's like um, I can listen to Bruce Springsteen, but if I have to listen to him talk politically, I want to kill him.
But can you listen to Bruce Springsteen's Christmas song?
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, okay.
I know you don't,
Uh,
but I'll tell you, like Bruce does
I'll never put on a Bruce Springsteen album on purpose.
4 hour concert, 4 hours of anybody. I want to kill somebody.
Sure.
I don't
It's too
like.
much.
I understand. I'm a hard-working blue-collar guy. Well, then take a fucking mop and clean out the arena for the 2 hours. But give a 2 hour show and let people go home. I'm gonna play every song I ever wrote. Fuck off. I just want to hear the ones I like. How many times you go to a show and you're like, can you just play the songs I fucking like?
Uh, when I saw the Foo Fighters, I had one of those experiences where I was like, "Get on with it," because what they were doing is they were doing this thing where every song in their set went into this like real down soft sort of thing, and then
Oh,
built back up in this big crescendo. But they did it with every song, and it was
awful.
like, come on. After the first one, you're like, oh, this is different. This isn't on the record. And then by the third one, you're just like, is this going to happen to everyone? God,
It's like it's
kill
about
me.
people always ask me, "You're into music. You must love going to concerts." No, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate being held hostage. I hate going in and like, what if I'm going to go see the Stones? I have to hear their super long version of "Sympathy for the Devil." I hate the short radio version. I don't want to hear the 9 hour version.
Yeah, it is funny. That's funny. People do say that sort of thing. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You're a musician, right? You should meet my friend Jerry. He's a guitar player too. It's like, I don't fucking want to meet Jerry ever.
right. Who cares? He's a guitar player.
Right.
Does he like South Park? No, he hates it. Well, tell him to shove his guitar up his fucking ass. You know what I mean?
Deep down inside, I'm an old curmudgeon, just an old man ready
Yeah.
to die. It's like, I want you to meet my friend. It's like, fuck your friend. I don't give a shit. Just an
Right.
awful human being. Folks, if you ever meet me,
I'm with
if you ever
you.
meet me, just
Right.
no. I'm terrible.
I have a friend, he plays guitar. You should meet him. Yeah, what's his views on pornography? Well, how would I know? Well, until you find out or even know mine, leave me the fuck alone. I'll be watching Pornhub. I'm trying to think if there was a show I'd want to see. Prince is another one. Prince has 4 million albums. Get it together. Put out a fucking record where I can listen to every song.
I think for the headlining act, 16 songs is enough.
An hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah. I figure 16 songs probably lands you about an hour and a half.
In between an hour and a half, come out for an encore, 2 songs, and then get the hell out of here. Let me go home. I've been holding in a piss. I mean, it's crazy.
I don't disagree.
Maiden always puts on a great show. They have the right timing down. You hear about these bands. Oh, they put on a 3-hour show. I'm always thinking, thank God it didn't go.
Yeah, I think that's why I've always kind of liked seeing heavy metal bands. I mean, forget the fact that that's a genre I grew up with. I mean, clearly that would have no bias, and I have a bias, folks. No, but a heavy metal show, like generally, you go and see Megadeth or something, they're playing 16 songs. That's it. They're not playing 30. And if they try to play 30, everybody's going to be gone by 22.
I'll tell you right now, I'm thinking about it now, starting the Dave Levine Festival. 5 bands play, each one plays 3 songs. You get the hell out of there. You did the whole festival in under 2 hours.
Oh, it's a good festival. I like that idea.
Right, they come out and bang out 3 tunes.
Right, that works.
That'd be great.
They have a back line.
Yeah. And they have to, because I'm promoting the festival, I have to approve all 3 songs. You know what I mean? Kiss comes and we're going to do this. We're going to do Rock and Roll All Night. We're going to do Shout It Out Loud, and we're going to do Lick It Up. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're going to do Love Her All I Can, 100,000 Years, and Watching You. Now get the fuck out there and perform.
Dance for the cameras.
That's right.
I'm going to do a black metal festival, and then when all of the little kids show up with their white face paint and their black eyes and everything, they're going to see 24/7 Spies.
Right.
Living Color.
I love it.
It's going to be...
They're going to be like, oh, black metal.
Our mistake. Oh, God. Anyway.
I do like the idea of me picking the 3 songs and you only get 3 songs. Because in 3 songs, you know what somebody will not say? I feel satisfied. No, they're going to be like, they left me wanting more. Well, great. We'll see you next tour.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you next time around.
Yeah, nobody definitely don't want to leave a concert saying they left me needing a lawn chair.
Right. Like, can you imagine walking out of a Bruce concert? How did you feel about the show? He left me wanting more. He did? Yeah. There was a couple of B-sides that he missed. Other than that, he played his whole fucking catalog. Christ.
Too much.
Yeah.
So, enough with the dead people and all that sort of thing. I did see something we could talk about that guitar players might find interesting.
Oh, boy.
A dealer in Texas leaked a handful of new Fender models that are going to be hitting the market at NAMM. Should we talk about them a little bit?
Yes, especially because they were leaked.
All right. So, I don't know if you saw it. My friend Troy, I posted on his Facebook comment.
My friend.
Well, he had my friend. He had a Facebook comment about something that Fender was doing.
You're talking about the Troy that I know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in true Dave Levine fashion, I commented back something along the lines of, "Here's what Fender's releasing at NAMM. This new revolutionary design that features a bolt-on neck, 3 single-coil pickups, a 2-point tremolo, and this brand new revolutionary 12-screw pick guard with more tone plastic for a revolutionary new voice," that kind of a thing.
I saw it.
Yeah.
It was on Facebook.
Got a lot of likes and a lot.
No, I saw. I saw your comment. I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I did see some of the guitars that they're releasing. And apparently they're bringing back the HM Strat. The one with the graffiti Strat logo on the headstock. You know what I'm talking about.
Heavy metal Strat, sure, from the 80s. There were three main Strats in the 80s. The regular Strat, the Strat, and the heavy metal Strat with the graffiti writing.
Right. Street price on it, according to this article that I saw, was in British pounds, and it was like 950 British pounds. Translates to the US of having an MSRP of about $1,250.
Mm-hmm.
And it features a Floyd Rose Special tremolo, which is literally the cheapest licensed Floyd Rose you can put on a guitar.
Sure.
It's going to be either Chinese or Korean or Indonesian or something.
Right.
And $1,250. I don't
Can't you buy the original ones on Reverb for $100?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that those pieces of trash are $300. Like all day, every day. I don't get it.
Yeah, who's running Fender right now? I don't know what they're doing. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't know if they know anything of what they're. What's sad is they're watching. They're probably watching. Here's the problem with social media. They're watching YouTube videos, and the ones that get the most hits and the most likes are the heavy metal hero ones, where all the shred is taking place, and they're like, that's who buys guitars. And it's not. 1,200's out of that league. You sell it for 600 from China, you might make a sale.
Yeah,
$1,200
bucks. Weird one. It's just a weird one to bring back. 17-inch fingerboard radius. It's flatter than an Ibanez.
Yeah, by a degree or an inch.
Right, but
Not
it's
much.
still how flat do you need it to be? And then it's super thin neck.
Wait a second. The radius is 17.
Uh-huh.
And the Floyd radius is 10.
I'm sure that they didn't match that.
That was one thing Kramer did right back in the day. All those old Kramers had a 10-inch radius. Because the Floyds were 10s.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know, but the that's what I read about the guitar anyways. High output pickups.
And what happened to the company that leaked it? The store.
What do you mean? What happened to them? I don't know.
Did Fender drop them? Did they?
Oh, I have no idea. I just saw the leak like 2 days ago.
Do you think Fender has the temerity to drop a dealer?
I don't know. Good question.
No way.
Probably not. Yeah.
You're kidding me? They'll open up a dealer. We're really going to treat you. We're going to take care of you. Guy across the street says, I'd like to open too. We'll be right over.
Right.
They could care less.
Right. That's probably true. But they had another one also that I saw that leaked, and it was basically an American Standard Strat with a rosewood neck. Just a solid rosewood neck. And I'm compelled to feel that they released that guitar just a few years ago, didn't they?
Yes.
So they're just bringing back another one.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. So again, it's just there's only so much you can do.
But hold on, but the problem with that is those sold okay. They don't really get the chance to put the logo on properly, so they haven't figured out how to make the logo like I did on mine. Theirs doesn't look like that. They could also carve it out like Gibson and put in just a white plastic Fender logo and then finish it and seal it, and it would be nice. They haven't done the time to figure out the details of how to make that guitar look good. And instead, they sell a handful of them. They're overpriced. They leave it dug out, so I guess people can finish the guitar themselves. Hey, thanks for letting me buy a DIY guitar, Fender. I could buy it at Wilmouth for a lot cheaper and do what I want.
Yeah. Well,
So, I mean, in that respect, I just don't think they, Gary Kramer, when Gary was making guitars for the short time that he was going back and making guitars, you and I would look at him and smile because we would say, this guy has thought about every detail in the guitar and addressed it and made it nice and made it like,
yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the car, the Bugatti Chiron or Chiron, however you pronounce the car. But it's like for $3 million, you better believe they took and looked at every little aspect of this car. Well, for whatever the overprice of fenders, they don't even care. Oh yeah, this one doesn't have a logo on it. Figure it out yourself. Yeah, they're shitbags. They just don't know what they're doing.
It's yeah, and the sad thing is probably all of it's going to sell. They'll put it into the. I don't know if it'll sell through to customers, but it'll sell into the dealer network.
Well, see, that's where they screw people over because these stores, they really don't know, is it going to sell? But they will sell them to the stores because the stores are like, Fender's doing this. But you know what though? Stores never carry Fender's new products. How many Vintner? What is it? Is it the Vintera? What was the name of that friggin'
Vintera.
How many of those have you seen in a store?
Not many.
All right. How many? What's the new Deluxe? The Ultras. How many Ultras have you seen?
I haven't. I haven't been at any stores lately. I can't. I can't speak to that. I'm imagining that they're selling better than they should be.
You
I
think
hate
so?
to say it. I hate to say it. But
I don't think so. How many Deluxe Strats do you think sold back when we were carrying Deluxe Strats in other stores around the country? How many? I've never seen one in a store. They always carry the standards. Guitar Center never carried a Deluxe.
Nah, GC's Guitar Center's catering to a
I think-
lower dollar point. Generally speaking, these days.
I think these guys.
I don't know. Either they never stocked them and sold them,
Right.
or they sold so well that they were never on the shelf.
Right. Yeah. And which one do you believe?
Right. That's
Yeah.
true.
No, they're not selling. They're not even carrying them. I remember when Sunir came to me with a new Strat, and I said, if it's red, Olympic white, sunburst, black, I don't want any of them. And he was like, no, you got to take a look. And I'm like, are those the colors? He started laughing. I said, forget it. I'm not taking any of them.
Good old Sunir. I got to go and see him soon. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, good guy.
Anyway, I'm going to report back with all of our NAMM stuff this upcoming week. This is NAMM week for 2020.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so we'll see what kind of cool stuff's out there. Since I'll be there stuck to my own booth, not being able to see who else is doing what. It'll be your job to seek out and search out the different websites and tell me what kind of cool stuff is out there that I won't get to see.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
I'll
NAMM
tell
is
you
going to
what,
be
we're-
just like SHOT Show, like all these, the gun show that happens in Vegas. They basically say it's not even for dealers anymore. It's basically YouTube people to go around and film. And I'm sure that's what this year's NAMM is going to be like.
Yeah, probably.
All righty, John, let's call this one short, and we'll report next week with what's going on in NAMM.
All right, folks. Catch you next time.
All right, very good.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.